Hey everyone, thanks for joining us tonight on our Plexus Health and Happiness event. My name is Darcy Groton. I am a Plexus ambassador and have been for about 3 years, which still seems super strange to say that because before Plexus, I was an elementary Montessori school teacher and I kind of felt like I would forever be a teacher. So it's very strange to me that I'm now sharing Plexus and am home with my children. It's been pretty amazing. So tonight we are going to share our health testimonials with you, and there's lots of great stories, so stay on till the end. So I'm going to begin by sharing a little bit about myself. Again, 3 years ago, I saw a close friend of mine sharing about their health journey and the business side of Plexus, and I was intrigued as an exhausted, rundown teacher. I went into teaching because I wanted to have time with my children. I wanted to be on their schedule. And, I always wanted to be a mom. That was really important to me. And I found that I was not on their schedule. I was staying late at school. They were staying with me. Everyone was exhausted because they often had to run to the grocery after work or whatever after work. And then, of course, magically you think, oh, I'm going to have all summer to play with my children. And that didn't happen for me. Financially, I had to work in the summer. So I started a small summer program at the school I worked at, and my kids were there all summer with me, with everybody else's children. And it wasn't the magical time with my children I had expected. So again, rundown, exhausted teacher, living on sugar. I would be excited for my children to go to bed so I could raid my ice cream and sugar cabinet. I mean, it was ridiculous, but I was really addicted to sugar. And as healthy as we ate outside of that habit, and I exercised, I was always really inflamed. I always had belly aches when I ate, always felt exhausted, blood sugar crashes in the afternoon, that exhausted, I could just fall asleep right now feeling. I always struggled with that. And I'd been to doctors and everyone tells you, you're a mom, you're a working mom, it's supposed to be normal, but I didn't feel normal. So when I started seeing my friend post about the products, I was intrigued, very skeptical, as you might be feeling as your friend is telling you about these products. But I watched her for 4 months and finally reached out because I was at my wit's end. I was exhausted and I needed some help. So fell in love with the products. They worked week 1. I was feeling amazing. I had energy to play with my kids in the afternoon. I just was super impressed with the ingredients and all of that. And then caught the vision of the business side and thought, what if this could be my ticket to have that time with my children that I so dreamed of? And it was. Within 2 years, I have left my teaching job. I'm a stay-at-home, I work my Plexus business now from home with them. And it just was such a blessing in my life. I still, like I said in the beginning of this conversation, can't believe that this is my life and that I am, home spending this time with them. It's really been a dream come true. And the product side of it, the company is just so amazing. I didn't know anything about network marketing when I started, or social media or sales or any of that kind of stuff. And I honestly never feel like I'm selling anything. I know so many people who need these products that it comes up so naturally in conversation. It's just been such an easy business. I don't feel like I'm working half the days. I'm always excited to get somebody started on their health journey. And I knew the products were safe when I started because I took all the products to the health, I can't even think of the word right now, but there's a journal of all kinds of product ingredients, and you can test them out and see health-wise if they're safe or not safe. So I did all of that. But last year, Health Canada approved all of the Plexus products, which is a rigorous testing procedure. And then I really knew what I'd always known, these are really safe. And it just made me believe more and more about sharing them with others and changing people's health. And you might be watching thinking, what is Plexus? What's it all about? Because I definitely in the beginning thought it was some kind of diet plan. And it took me a long time to realize that it's about holistic health. Gut healing, balancing blood sugars, detoxing the body, and they're supplements that you would find at any health food store. So I fell in love, got on board, and it's been such a blessing. I'm going to pass it off to the next story because there's some great stories to share tonight.
Sorry, technical difficulties unmuting myself. Hi, I'm Katie Brunell. I'm a silver with Plexus, and I've only been with Plexus for a few months now. And I want to share my story about how I got here. So in 2015, I'm going back a little bit, I actually got certified as a nutrition advisor at a medical institute called Sanoviv, and the whole program was based around gut health. And at the medical institute, they treated patients as critically as those with cancer and autoimmune diseases, all the way to somebody who has allergies and much less critically afflicted diseases and ailments. So I did all of this for personal gain. I was interested in it. I wanted to feel my best. And I was so healthy at that time. I was physically fit. My body was running the way it was supposed to. And it was about that time that Darcy started in Plexus and reached out to me. We went to college together. And she wanted to share what she learned about Plexus and these supplements. And I tried the pink drink and I liked it okay, but I didn't really have a place or a need for it at the time. I didn't feel like I did. So I just passed it off. And about a year later, I started a startup company, and I've been doing sales and marketing and business organization and operations. And I completely lost myself, my self-care, my health. I let it go down the drain. And at first it was, you know how when you start to first lose your health, you see the weight gain. And that's how we kind of quantify that. So I gained 10 to 15 pounds, and I thought, well, that's okay because I know what to do. So I'll be able to lose that weight. And then I started noticing that my skin wasn't as bright. And then I noticed that I was sluggish. And then the weight kept on coming on. And then I was so tired and so just far behind. And I knew from the research that I had done that I was in adrenal fatigue. I had put so much strain on my body by not taking care of it that my gut health was completely gone. I was in adrenal fatigue. And instead of being able to get back on the train, it was harder and harder. And I got farther and farther and farther away from the train. And eventually I found myself gaining 50 pounds above my average adult weight since I was 17, including having 2 children. I would go back to my average weight after. And I fell into a deep depression. And so this is really my story, is about how I let my health go so much that I fell into a depression. And the research that I've done says that your gut and your serotonin lives in your gut. And so oftentimes anxiety and depression that you feel are related to how your gut is. If you have an overgrowth of candida, which I've always been someone who's had an overgrowth of candida since I was younger. I've always been prone to yeast infections. Acne is often a case of overgrowth of candida. I had a lot of teenage acne and several other things that you can kind of know that are overgrowth of candida. So I fell into this depression to the point of not being able to get out of bed. A single mom of 2 kids, and I looked like I was doing stuff because there were 0 other adults around to do the things that needed to be done. But I would get up just in time to get my kids out the door to school late, and then I'd crawl back in bed. And I was consulting at the time, and I would bring my laptop to bed, and I would lay there in bed until I had to go get my kids again, and maybe throw some dinner together, like frozen food. And I had anxiety, and the anxiety would keep me up at night. And then the depression would tell me that I couldn't fix anything. And I was in such a dark place. I did go to my doctor, told her what was going on. I knew that I needed to fix my health. I knew that was my background. But I didn't feel capable to take the first steps to do that. I couldn't see myself being capable to take a supplement on a timely fashion. I would forget, I wouldn't do it. I couldn't exercise. I couldn't get out of bed. So I did start an antidepressant, and that started to make me feel capable. Once I got onto the routine of taking that antidepressant once a day, I reached out to Darcy and I said, I need help. I need help getting my gut health back. I know that I need the Plexus supplements that you've been talking about. I looked them up. I knew that they were the best out there and that this was really going to help me jumpstart when I needed. And to be honest, I wish that I had started before, even when I thought that I didn't need them, because it probably would have, not that it would have prevented everything, but it probably would have helped me to already have that in my routine. So we jumped in, and to be honest, I've done a lot of research in direct sales over the last 10 years. So the business made a lot of sense to me already, which is not often the case with somebody who's going to start supplements with a direct sales company. But being in business and marketing, the business model makes a lot of sense to me. So I was ready. I said, please help me order. I ordered Triplex products and I got on board. And I will tell you, the last thing that I'll say about my story is that, yes, the antidepressants helped me to feel capable. They did not help me feel happy. I attribute actually feeling happy every day, being a capable and happy mother, having the energy to play with my children, going to bed at a decent time, all of that I attribute to the supplements that I've been taking and getting my gut health back on track 100%. So that is pretty much wraps up my story. I'm still on my journey to get better. It's only been a few months. It takes time, but the happiness and the non-scale victories definitely are there. So I'm going to pass this story on to Karen.
Hey, everybody. My name is Karen Liza. I am a Plexus ambassador, and I have been with Plexus now for about 1.5 years. I had seen Darcy posting on Facebook for quite a while, and she, was posting about having all this energy and feeling great, and I thought, okay, maybe I need to check this out because I'm feeling, pretty tired at night, and I knew I wanted to make some changes, but I didn't necessarily have the tools to do that. So I reached out and jumped right on board and felt great for the first couple of months. But with anything, unless you're ready to make a change, it doesn't always stick. And so I wasn't consistent with my product and had kind of stopped seeing some positive effects from it. And so I just kind of using them and became addicted to energy drinks. Again, I had stopped for a little while and then become quite addicted to them. And just, I didn't feel good. I was tired. I, was thinking that the energy, I was, doing great things. And by 9 o'clock in the morning, I was exhausted and had a full day of work ahead of me. So this past April, my husband and I decided that it was time to make some lifestyle changes, make some changes in our family. And so I decided it was time to recommit to Plexus, recommit to myself, so that I could feel better, I could be healthier. And so probably about April, I started consistently taking my products again. I started eating better, and it was amazing the energy that I felt and I feel by eating better and exercising and doing that kind of stuff. The products just completely enhance that. And so I just knew that it was something that we needed to do. I needed to do for myself. And so I've been running, which is amazing for me because I'm not a runner at all. So I'm able to get up early in the morning and go and do that and have the energy to continue throughout my entire day, which is amazing, and it feels great. So I can keep up with my 5-year-old and, be playing outside with him and riding bikes and doing all of that. And so these products they really do work. It's amazing. And so, yeah, that's kind of my story. I a pretty boring story, but it's my story, and it's a good one. I'm happy with where things are at this point in my life. Losing weight, eating healthy, feeling great. And so that's me in a nutshell. So I will pass it off to Melissa. Thanks.
Thanks, Karen. So my name is Melissa Roberts, and I'm a silver ambassador with Plexus. So I started with Plexus, I guess it was July of 2017. I happened to run into Darcy, who I went to college with, at a mom and baby expo. And I had my daughter with me, and she was just shy of a year. And to say that Maya and I had a complicated nursing relationship would be an understatement. So Maya was tongue-tied and lip-tied, and she had torticollis. And so we were seeing PTs and OTs and all these kinds of people. So nursing was hard, and my supply wasn't keeping up because it was so hard. So I had seen Darcy and was talking to her about some of the things going on, and she had suggested Plexus and the triplex, and looking really at the pink drink and regulating my blood sugars in hopes that my milk supply would come around. And so I had nursed my son for 2 years, so I was really hoping to have the same kind of relationship with my daughter. And at that point, it didn't kind of seem like it was going that way. And so I started the triplex, and I was amazed that literally within 2 days, my milk supply was way higher. I was completely shocked. I was back to work, and I was pumping, and for me, I was getting over an ounce more per pumping session, which may not sound like a lot to people, but for me, who was living like pump bag to pump bag, that was huge. I was actually able to freeze some and all that stuff, so it was wonderful. And then, so that was in July through the beginning of fall, and then Maya is her own person, and so she had stopped nursing kind of on our own. And at the same time, a new school year was starting. We sold a house. We started to build a house. We had to move into a winter rental. To say it was crazy, it was an understatement. So at that point, because I didn't need the triplex to help with the nursing anymore and all the other craziness was happening, I ended up stopping that because I couldn't focus on myself as much. I was just trying to keep my head above water. So I actually had stopped the triplex, and it wasn't great. So I had a couple of health things happen. I have I have endometriosis and ovarian cysts, and I ended up in the hospital a couple of times due to cyst rupturing, and it kind of almost throwing me in, well, my whole system went a little bit bonkers. So I ended up in the hospital a couple of times, and then finally I reached out to Darcy and I said, I'm ready to recommit. Like, I can't feel like this anymore. And I felt like I was rushing bedtime with my kids because I was just exhausted. And I housed the candy jar in the office because I wanted to be able to eat as much chocolate as I could. I was always the PD coordinator coming in with a couple of bags of chocolate. And then I could eat chocolate all day long because I was sitting with teachers and offering them chocolate while they sat with me, and I could eat it all the time. And it was kind of like my excuse. And I held all the candy in my office. So everybody came in to me and see candy. Well, every time somebody come in, I could eat some too. And I was having crazy sugar crashes and living on sugar. And I've always struggled my entire life with candida overgrowth, like Katie was saying, very similar yeast infections, always psoriasis, crazy. My eyes would look like I was being punched. My head was like full dandruff, like just because it was so red and raw from the candida. So it was pretty crazy. And the detox when I had done the triplex with Maya was also pretty intense, and which was another reason why I kind of stopped. I just couldn't figure out how to handle the detox, and I knew I wasn't putting myself first at that time, so I didn't really have the mental energy to figure out what I needed to do. So when I had started the triplex the first time, my eyes were red and raw. I had thrush 3 times in the couple of months that I was taking the triplex because yeast was just coming out of me in every way possible. And I couldn't get on top of the why. So when I finally hit that kind of bottom part of just feeling really sluggish and sugar craved, I decided that I really needed to commit to myself and that really I needed to be healthy so that I could be the mom that I wanted to be and the professional that I wanted to be. And that wasn't going to happen if I wasn't taking care of myself. So I decided to recommit to that. And I decided I was going to eat better. I started anti-inflammatory foods. So I was paying attention to what I was eating better. I've always kind of gone with not a lot of gluten because that definitely tends to be something that triggers bad gut stuff with me. But with Maya's pregnancy, I just had no like self-control and I was just eating a ton of gluten. So I was trying to wean back, coming back to going off on the gluten, trying to not eat the sugar, trying to anti-inflammatory foods. I was drinking yogi detox tea, drinking lemon water. So I was trying to do all of that and starting the triplex again so that I would help because I knew I was like, I am going to tough it out this time. I'm going to get through it because I know that if I can get to the other end, I'm going to feel a ton better. And that time the second time when I started in March or so, I started slower. I started with only half a drink of pink drink at once. And then I started to add in pieces, the Bio Cleanse and then the ProBio 5 I've gone really slow with. I've been doing it since March or April, and I'm still kind of waiting to get to that max point because anytime I up my ProBio 5, I can see the candida come. So I have to make sure that I'm doing my water and I'm getting my detox tea and I'm paying attention to what I'm eating. Because after that, after those first couple of weeks, I felt so much better and I didn't have as many detox symptoms going slower. But I was able, I think part of that was eating better. Before, when in the fall, when I was trying to do it, we were literally, I had a 2-hour commute on each end of my day. I was trying to pick the kids up, trying to get Luke ready for kindergarten. It was nuts. And so I didn't have time. We were eating mac and cheese and whatever else we could get quickly because for survival life, we just didn't have time. And this time I'm able to help everybody have healthier choices. One of the biggest things I think that Plexus has done for me is to help regulate myself so that I go to the bathroom every day. I used to joke that my mom used to say princesses don't poop. So like my entire life, it was not talked about. Girls don't poop. So when I met my husband, he was like, you don't feel good because you need to be one with the poop. And so all these conversations about this, but I just never could go. And so Bio Cleanse has been amazing for me. I've never been a regular person. And I think that with just the stomach pain and the irritation that comes along with it has been pretty amazing. I have much better energy. It's more stable. I haven't filled the candy jar in my office in months, much to the demise of my coworkers who are still seeking out candy every once in a while, although we did do a 7-day trial with some of them a couple weeks ago. So that was fun. So I just feel like overall, I feel like I'm a better mom. I feel like I'm doing better at both my job and being at home. I'm not rushing bedtime. I have energy to be with my kids. I feel like I have more patience for them. They're eating better because I'm eating better. So I feel like, we're really all just in a much better place and, being able to share with some friends and being able to go silver has been wonderful and just trying to continue to share my message because the goal is that everybody will feel better. Everybody's got something and I feel like there's something in Plexus for everybody. And so, yeah, that's my story. So I will now hand it over to Elizabeth.
Thank you, Melissa. Hi, everybody. So I am going to wrap up this evening with my testimony. My name's Elizabeth Simmons. I'm a Plexus ambassador right from the beginning. I wanted to sign on for wholesale, and so I did. I just actually reached the goal of Super Silver today, which is the next level for me, and that was exciting. It's amazing helping people feel better. So I feel so much better over the last few years that I want to share and summarize as much as I can without keeping you up till 10 o'clock. I have a few notes. You might see my eyes changing where I look a little bit, but I just want to make sure I share as much of my story that is the good, the nitty gritty that you guys want to see. When I was first introduced to Plexus, I met Darcy through Montessori teaching, and she taught my daughter. She had shared a picture of the pink drink on her Facebook page. So I asked her what it was, and she came to speak with me. After I had been talking to her for a few minutes, I knew I wanted to try the products based on what they were made of and what they could do for me. Research that I had already done led me to say, I need to just try them. I was looking for something, and sometimes that's what people here are watching this for. They're looking, they're interested. I was looking for something for my gut health and my cholesterol. Biggest thing was cholesterol. I'd been fighting that for 10 years. I knew I wanted to lose weight, and I knew I needed to get healthier. I knew I needed to exercise more. But the doctors had been talking to me about my cholesterol for seriously about 10 years. And I was only like 36. And that kind of runs in my family. So I had thought I need something to bring this down. Everything I'm doing has helped a little, but it's not enough. So in the back of my mind, I was worried about being a single mom, worried about my kids. How long am I going to live? Not that I was worried I was going to die young, but I'm taking like years off my life with a cholesterol level that's high. So I tried an over-the-counter supplement. You've probably heard of red yeast rice. I tried that with my doctor following me, and that helped a little bit, but not quite enough. So when I decided to try the products, my hope was it would help with this. And I got to tell you, I'm going to tell you my numbers were amazing. I started with the products December of 14, and it was right around Christmas. So that following month, I found that I had more energy. I started to get outside more and exercise in the winter. And that was nice too. There's some beauty in the winter. After about 3 weeks, I wasn't craving sugar and sweets, almost gone completely, and that shocked me. I was losing some weight, losing some inches, feeling better, getting more regular, detoxing, a little bit of what we all find when we start the products. And in month 5, because my goal was cholesterol, I added the omega plant-based oil that we have, the capsules, and took that for 1 month just before my yearly labs were due. And when I had those labs drawn at the beginning of month 6 of the products, I had been running at about 243 for my cholesterol. And the lowest I'd gotten it before that was maybe 219. So when I got the lab results back, it was amazing. My cholesterol was down to 207, which actually is okay. And my triglycerides, which are the bad cholesterols, they're don't want them good. You don't want them up. Had been about 220 at their highest a couple different years, and then they had dropped down to 125. Like I was almost in shock. That's almost half of what they were. So your triglycerides, especially in women, is put you in a higher risk for heart disease. And I know that because I've done my research, but I also didn't mention in the beginning, I've been a nurse for 22 years. So I have a scientific mind, and I can't help but think ahead like that. So I knew I wanted to get a hold of this cholesterol for a reason. And my girls are young, and I was worried. And I felt like I told Darcy, I just added 10 years to my life. I'm telling you, I just like knocked that cholesterol down, and it's going to probably continue to get better. And I just felt like I was on a natural high. The other lab I had drawn to that I want people to know about is something called a hemoglobin A1C. That was a lab that I had drawn because I had gestational diabetes. And that has to do with the next step, if I took it further, would be diabetes type 2. So they monitor my hemoglobin A1C to see how I'm doing with my blood sugar control. I was in a normal range. The number for me was 5.5, and that's good. But after doing the products for that 6 months and I had those yearly labs, it had dropped to 4.8. So I got much better control. I got tighter control of glucose metabolism, which is what the Slim helps with especially. That, again, was huge as well, because glucose metabolism and control of that helps with inflammation in your body. And your glucose also helps balance your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, on your adrenal glands. So if you can balance those hormones like we're doing with our products, you may find that your health improves more than you would ever realize or imagine. I have had, other than the cholesterol, I've had a pretty significant history with IBS. I have been hospitalized. I've been in the ED. I've had CAT scans for $1,000 that show nothing. It's all inflammation. And I've been on that air of just not going to the bathroom on a regular basis. And it's horrible. And it does like bad things to your health. And it doesn't make you feel good. And you end up with, I ended up with like leaky gut syndrome and not feeling well from that, and being sensitive to foods, having troubles with my ears and my adenoids and tonsils, and just a lot of chronic inflammation. And a lot of that is resolved, pretty much gone. My IBS has been in remission ever since I started these products. I've never been so regular in my whole life, and it's absolutely amazing. It's one of the funny things we talk about in Plexus is that you do go to the bathroom every day. I've had one other experience with one product I'd like to just mention a little is there's a product for nerve pain. I broke my ankle this last fall and was laid up for quite a while and still have a little bit of residual numbness and pain. But I took our product called Plexus Nerve, and it took away those sharp barbed wire fence zaps that you get with nerve pain. It was amazing, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who's having some nerve pain, but that helped for me. And we're talking significant nerve pain. It numbs all the way down my foot to my big toe and my second toe completely. So for it to take away that pain, it changes your lifestyle too. I don't know. I think I have one more thing I want to mention, because I just want to briefly touch on it, is the inflammation that decreases in your body can also, surprisingly, for me, I noticed a small thing was breast health. I had that dreaded news about my mammogram and having to have a repeat 1 year. I'm talking like probably 5 years ago. My mom has had breast cancer, and I went back for a repeat and an ultrasound, and it was not cancer, it was breast cysts. But after I started these products, I noticed a difference in how my breast felt, and I noticed a difference in the density of them, if that makes sense. But remember, I'm a nurse, I'm science. That next year and every year since, my mammograms have been better. And this last year, instead of 3 cysts, there's only 1. And the density of the breast tissue has decreased. And I do liken that to the fact that my body is healthier and there's not as much inflammation. So that's a little piece I wanted to add. You know, there's a lot of other things the girls touched on, but anxiety and stress and sleep, those are all great too. I sleep great. My anxiety isn't as bad. And not to mention, it's helped with the business part of it. And some of you may agree a little bit, where it helped me with Christmas. It helped me with some car repairs, and little by little sharing with others and helping them feel better is amazing. And it makes me feel better too. I'm going to conclude and wrap up, because I touched on everything I felt like I needed to for tonight. And I want to thank everybody for hopping on and listening to our stories. We've all had amazing ones. All you ladies were great. If you have any questions or would like more information about what we've talked about, or what we took, or what products you are interested in, then get in touch with the person that invited you to this event, and they will get the information that you need. And that's it. Maybe Darcy wants to say goodbye at the end of this talk? No? Okay, we're great. Everybody have a wonderful night and rest well.